So hello everyone, myself Roshni Kumari. Today we will gonna talking about something super cool, that is AWS Lambda. It's like magic for running code without worrying about servers. Imagine having all the benefits of scaling, paying only for what you use, and easily integrating with other AWS services, all without the hassle of managing servers yourself. We will taking a friendly dive into its history, perks, downsides, and see how top companies are making the most of it. Let's get started. So what is AWS Lambda? AWS Lambda is like you're having your own personal team of servers that works tirelessly in the background, but without the hassle of actually having to manage them. It is super cool, easy to compute services provided by AWS that allows you to run your code efficiently without worrying about your server. Thing is revolves around functions. These functions do all sort of tasks like hosting APIs, handling events from other services, or even running small one-time job whenever you need of them. They are building blocks of the applications in Lambda. Now, what are the benefits in AWS? First of all is the no servers to manage. Say goodbye to the headaches of server maintenance and to handle them, because Lambda take care of it. Next is auto scaling. Need more computing power? No problem. Lambda automatically scales up and down, handle the whatever workload you're gonna throw at it. Pay for what you are pricing. With Lambda, you only pay for the time your code actually runs. Basically, it is paying for the electricity. You only pay what you use. Exactly. Yeah. Service integrations is a Lambda plays nicely with over other AWS services like DynamoDB, SNS, making it super easy and build complex applications that utilize multiple services. And the last one is easy to use. Creating, monitoring, and debugging functions in Lambda is a breeze. It simplifies the whole process for you and for application development and maintenance. Okay, so let's forward about the history of AWS Lambda and cloud computing. As before cloud computing, companies had to build and manage their own data centers. That means to buying their hardware, setting it up, and dealing with the maintenance headache. Then came to AWS EC2 in 2006, which let companies rent virtual services from AWS. This means they could scale up their apps without worrying physical maintenance and infrastructure. But it was not until 2014 when AWS Lambda came along with things really changed. Lambda introduced a pay per execution model that developers could write small pieces of code called functions and let AWS handle anything else. With Lambda, developers did not need to worry about the servers or how much they are using. They just wrote their code and let it down when needed. In essence, Lambda made computing simpler and more flexible. In terms of servers, instead of managing servers, developers could focus on writing code. They did specific tasks like processing or handling requests. They shift to serverless computing and marked it with a big step forward, allowing companies to be more agile and cost effective in how they built and scaled up their applications. Okay, now let's talk about the disadvantages of AWS Lambda, which includes flexibility and control. While Lambda offers flexibility in scaling and managing resources, it comes at the cost of lower level control over the underlying infrastructure. That means developers may have less ability to fine tune certain aspects of their applications. Cold start issues. One drawback of Lambda is the potential for cold start issues that occurs when a Lambda function has not been used for a while and needs to spin up new instances, leading to latency during the initial invocation. Companies that use AWS Lambda are the prominent companies that have been embraced for various purposes, like Netflix uses Lambda for their task for data processing and content delivery, Lyft that leverages Lambda for handling the real-time data analysis and processing in the ride-sharing platform, Udemy that uses Lambda for the backend processing and handling user interfaces for their online learning platform, and Square Enix incorporates Lambda gaming infrastructure for tasks like user authentication and in-game events processing. Autodesk also relies on the Lambda processing that automate tasks and such as data analysis and rendering processes in the design software. So these are the huge companies that has the diverse applications on the base of Lambda applications and functions. Now let's see the test use cases of AWS Lambda functions. File processing triggered by adding files to Amazon ES3. Next is web applications that automatically scale up based on incoming traffic. IoT applications also triggered by certain conditions and analyze data from connected devices. And stream processing with Amazon Keys for real-time data processing help focus on code rather than underlying infrastructure. Features that of AWS Lambda functions: auto scaling and high availability for handling certain traffic, serverless execution without manual server pausing. Let's start with the AWS Lambda, that how we can create a function and how we can use it. So first of all, you have to create an AWS account, then use AWS console to create AWS Lambda functions, then upload code and configure details according to the requirements. And the pricing system and structure of AWS Lambda functions are based on the number of requests and duration of code execution. No charges for creating Lambda functions, and free tier option also available for 1 million free users request and 400,000 GB seconds to compute time per month.